Tales number 16, where I'm reading from time slips of actual work that I do for my clients in Fresno, California, where I've been a computer consultant for almost 30 years of my own business and a few years prior to that working for other companies. So I'm over the stress from yesterday. It's under the bridge. And I had some really good conversations in the comments with Frankie B and Blackwatch and BH Ringer. Thank you for those comments and having an exchange with me. So let's get on to this. Oh, by the way, I have plans in mind for how to make that type of an event less stressful, because I am really concerned about any online software. What happens if they have a catastrophic failure? So I've got my plans pretty well worked out for what I'm going to do. And I'll talk about that later. But I'm going to go right into time slips because that's what this Tech Tales is all about. Now, here I'm having to look at the time slips out of order on my screen because when I first started trying to keep track of which ones I've already done, it kind of messed up the order. And that's another weird thing that QuickBooks Online does. So anyway, I'll be through that when we get into next week. So here I'm talking about the chiropractic office for a few of these time slips. And this time slip was from Wednesday. It's the earliest of these few time slips. And this was for Tracy's new computer. And this is the same Tracy that I do the Tracy Computer Experiment or TC Computer Experiment playlist. So this is working on her new computer. And what I did here is this time slip is just recording the Windows initialization work that I did on her computer. Now, I don't actually have times on this time slip, and that I do that occasionally because I had done this work here and there over probably a period of a couple days, just the Windows initialization and updates. And pretty common, their charge for that is 45 minutes. So I just put 45 minutes of time on Wednesday, and it's not even specified for when that occurred during that day, and it actually didn't occur all that day. Then going to the next time slip in chronological order would be Friday for the chiropractor's office. And this note says 9:50 a.m. to 12:01 a.m., so just 11 minutes. And this is with L in the office. I connected remote to Tracy's new computer. I am using Tracy's name because I've had specific permission for that, but other people will use initials. I connected remote to Tracy's new computer, which at that point it was in the office in the kitchen, and I've told about putting it there before. Again, these time slips are out of order. To install chirotouch and configure a company email address due to a warning message from chirotouch. So what happened here is Tracy had called me because she's now working with her old computer on the new server and the new version of chirotouch, and she was getting a message indicating that we need to configure an email address in order to do some kind of report or form or something that she was doing, and she did not have to do that in the past with the old program. So I connected remotely to her new computer to go ahead and install the new version of chirotouch on that computer and enter the email address that was needed. So that was just a quick little thing. And then later that same day, just shortly later, I actually went out to the office, and 10:30 to 11:48, so an hour and 18 minutes, for L had called me saying the iPad was not working. They have an iPad that connects to this chiropractic software that they use to take pictures of the patients. And they can take a picture of the patient and it goes right into that patient record utilizing the iPad. Well, she tried launching that from the iPad and it wouldn't launch. Well, I didn't think to install the new version of the program when I was last out there. So I needed to go back out there anyway, so I just installed the new version on the iPad, and it worked fine. And then I resumed the configuration of Tracy's new computer for that period of time while I was there. And so that takes care of those 3 time slips. So yeah, as I scroll up, yeah, I do see I had some time slips on Thursday. So that's when I actually installed the computer in the office. I'll be happy when I get to the next week and these time slips are not out of order anymore. Then let's see. So that gets me down to the CPA's office that I've spoken to a few times. This was the senior partner called me. He was swapping the external backup drives. In this office and many of my clients, it's their job to swap the backup drives. It's their job to look and see that the backups are working. That's not true in all of my clients' offices. And this office also has MagnusBox Cloud Backup. There's the sticker right up there. And I got one down here. I have many of my clients using MagnusBox, so they're automatically backed up to the cloud every night. But we also do external backups and swap the backups and take one backup off site. So he was having trouble swapping the backup drive. So the way I've trained him is to click on the eject safely button, but sometimes it doesn't work. And I've seen this happen on a number of computers and put some effort into finding the actual cause for that, ending tasks, closing the backup software, various different things, all the things that make sense. They didn't work. Well, as long as you know that nothing is actively accessing the drive, it can be shut off and disconnected. So that's what I told him to do is turn the power switch off on the backup drive and then disconnect it. And he checked this backup drive out and it doesn't have an off switch. Well, the backup drives that I typically provide do have an on-off switch on the backup drive. And I think this one, once upon a time, he had bought a replacement because of a backup drive failing and it doesn't have a power switch. So I had him disconnect the power, then disconnect the signal cable. And I'm not even sure that's needed. You can probably just disconnect the signal cable and you swap the drives, but he had to disconnect the power anyway. So why not? He disconnects the power on the signal cable, puts that on the side, brings the other drive in and connects it. And then it comes up on screen and we check to make sure that the backup folder is accessible on it, to be sure that it came up and is working. Ooh, who is next? That next one is, yeah, okay, so this is the last actual time slip on this week. Let's get this out of the way. Oh, by the way, that one I just talked about with the CPA's office, that was on Saturday. And that was an 8-minute time slip. So then the chiropractic office on Saturday, earlier on Saturday, 9:46 a.m. to 10:40 a.m. And this was for Tracy. I swapped her old and new computers to take the old computer away from her desk. Remember, that's the one that I was having the cryptographic services problem. And boom, it's here now. It's back. So I'm looking forward to digging back into that and tracking down that weird problem. So let's see, swap those computers in the kitchen for, let's see, swap the old and new computers with, so the old computer now in the kitchen for the remainder of the migration work. So my intention was to use Fab's AutoBackup to transfer the user profile from the old computer to the new computer and do that remotely. So there was that was nearly an hour where there was more to do than just physically swapping them. I don't put in all the detail of what I do, just enough to cover the substance of it. Okay, so that ends last week. That was Saturday. So next Tech Tales should be the beginning of this week that is just about to end. Today is Thursday, April 29th, 2021. So I hope this was useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.